Hello, this is Qyalms visiting again from the Grim Wayside. And today I have a doll that just came in. It's new to me. I had it on pre-order at Kikagoods for a while. This is the special color or limited edition. The only designation they gave her was cat, but she's from the Electronic Pet Game World series. I wasn't really vibing with the rest of the series, but I did think that when Kika Goods originally put her listing up, it was a drawing, and the drawing looked quite cute. There weren't actually any product pictures, but I thought she looked quite cute, although I wasn't really so excited about the rest of the series. So I did pick her up individually, and I'm looking forward to actually opening her up and seeing if she lives up to her pictures. I've seen some of the photographs now. In particular, I started to see photographs on AliExpress popping up, and I'm not sure that I see the levels of detail that I like to see in these dolls. There are certain sets of dolls that have a lot of detail in them, like the Nine Colored Deer from Onto and Penny's box. Those have a lot of detail in both the costumes that make them really unique, also in all of their accessories and individuals. So I'm interested in seeing what she looks like once we get her dressed up. I'm interested in seeing what kind of plastic she's made out of, how high quality. She does appear to have a lot of hands. So when she originally appeared on Kikagoods, she was $30. She is not available at Kikagoods at the moment, but you can pick her up on AliExpress. Unfortunately for United States buyers, tariffs have hit AliExpress quite hard. So looking at her as a limited edition, and with the tariff prices, she's running about $90 right now. One thing, while the doll was in the mail, I did get kind of a mysterious email from Kika Goods saying that they had forgotten a piece of her costume and that they had been sending it separately. I was curious as to what it was. It just said red ribbon accessory. And so when it came in this little envelope, it's actually just a little red ribbon. I wanna give Kikagoods props for making sure that all of the pieces came regardless of how important the piece may seem. So they did go through all the extra effort of mailing this one ribbon. The ribbon, I believe from the pictures, is tied around her ankle. So let me just throw that to the side there. Popping her open. So what we have inside on the card, and the card is all in Chinese. I do see the characters for cat here. I see the characters for colors, so I'm gonna guess it says something like special color cat. I think it's Mao Mao, right? From Apothecary Diaries. That's the name of the character who has the uh, two cat characters. So in here we also have a pair of black high heel shoes. We have some high-heeled feet. We have her character card. I'm not sure what that character is, but it is color cat cat. So the dolls themselves, I guess, I don't think they come with any sort of Tamagotchi, but they are supposed to be like Tamagotchi themed, whatever that actually meant to them. And then just a look at the back, if you want to pause the video and you want to Google Translate any of the text on the back, that's what the back of the card looks like. So this was the image that was posted initially on the website. Let me get out. Okay, so for her outfit, we have, this looks like, this is one of her anklets. It goes around her, one of her leg warmers. It looks like her top is a separate piece. Has a very strong plastic smell. Yeah, everything's got a really strong plastic smell. It smells like a brand new Nendoroid. The sleeves are little black satin puff sleeves. They do have elastic in them, which gives it a little puff and a ruffle. There is a sheer sort of neck ruffle. There's individual tiny little, they're not actually metal buttons, but they're silver tone buttons sewn to the front. And then there's a piece of sheer lace that they're sewn onto. And then the bottom of the skirt, or at the bottom of the top, has a little peplum that's a sheer red material that's gathered. The seams inside, they seem pretty well finished. They're not fraying. I think that's by virtue, they're not actually finished in a particular way, but that's by virtue of the kind of fabric that they used. And then it uses two pieces or one piece of the long black doll elastic. So I'll put you here. Then the skirt is separate, which is nice. It's always nice to have separate pieces instead of a one-piece dress because it always offers a lot more versatility. You can swap it out for something else. So it has these two loops of faux pearls on a silver metal chain. The chain is quite fine and delicate, which is nice. It's sort of in scale with the doll. It's not too large. On the back, it is sealed with a long piece of doll Velcro. And inside, it's very well finished. There aren't any loose threads at all. Again, that's partly the fabric that they chose, and partly because it's not exactly a serged edge in here, but it is a very well sewn edge in here. It looks like it's been laid down. The bottom of the skirt is a large piece of red scalloped fabric. It's sheer with a slight sheen to it. On the back above the Velcro, there is a sheer black bow. It has an overskirt of the same sheer material with a scalloped, very fine scalloped lace. It's very pretty, actually. And then the final details on the skirt, there are these two like ribbon pieces that have a red ribbon at the bottom, a little teensy weensy sheer black bow at the top, and there's two of them that lay on the fronts. And so I will say the quality of the costume is quite nice. It's all finished very well. All of the seams, the stitching is very small. The ruffling is very delicate. And I like how they did the scalloped edge at the bottom. So her dress and her top, one of her anklets, here's her other anklet. One has a cross on it, an upside down cross, and the other one does not. These, I imagine, are socks. They don't look like gloves, and I don't think her picture has gloves. I've never seen her with gloves on. Interesting, because the socks are going to go under the little leg warmers and you're not going to see them, but I will never be angry about extra pieces of costume. This is extremely tiny. I'm going to guess, looking at the picture, that this teeny tiny piece of um, it's a loop of very stiff lace. I'm gonna guess that's her choker. We'll have to remove her head to put that over her neck. And then there appears to be a black ribbon with more of that beaded chain on it. Where do I think this goes? Hmm. I think maybe it's her belt. I see on the pictures and on the little card that she's supposed to have a belt of pearls. So I think maybe this is a belt. It's interesting that they didn't sew it to the waist of the top, I guess, is what I probably would have expected. And then the last piece in here is her little veil. So it's on a piece of elastic. And it's more of that the same sheer black fabric. It's ruffled for the headband, and then there's two sheer red bows on it and a black satin ribbon that goes across the top. And then the veil part of it is the same black sheer fabric and a slightly different lace again than the lace that was on the skirt. But that's very pretty. It's a interesting veil because it's only attached at like one center point, um, rather than like across the entire headband. So those are the costume pieces that she came with. And I'm interested to see whether or not she needs those high-heeled feet in order to wear her shoes. So, I mean, the first thing that became obvious when we picked out the doll, or when I brought it out of the package, was how many hands this doll has. Can't fault them for not giving you expressive hands. Woo. Definitely smells like an Android. Put all of that plastic over here for my cats to play with. Okay. So, looking at her through the packaging, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. She looked a little shiny to me, and when you have a shiny doll, that always makes them look a little cheap. But it looks like a lot of that shininess was actually from the plastic that she was wrapped in. She has sort of a matte finish. She doesn't have any body blushing on her body. She does have blushing on her face with her makeup. Um, so there's nothing articulated with paint or picked out with paint on her body, but she does have sort of a soft matte satin finish, which is nice. She's a pretty color. And so she's got regular ball joint ankles with the little metal hooks running to elastic. She has peanut joints in her knees. This is a very standard sort of body configuration that I've seen with these 1/12 size dolls that you get from Kikagoods. She has the separate hip joint at the top, which gives her more mobility to twist her legs side to side. She can do that um, seiza, or she can do the sitting pose, the swadiko pose, I believe is what it's been called. Um, she has the metal hooks in her hands, the peanut joints in her elbows. She's quite, she has a quite nice tensioning actually. She's not too loose and she's not too stiff in her body. So actually, I'm pretty happy with her body. She has a joint at the top, which allows her to move forward a bit. The joint itself doesn't have a lot of mobility to it, but you can, let me see if I can, you can overextend her, which gives her more of a sway back, or you can overextend her to the back, which gives her more of a leaning over. Okay, so in terms of her head and her facial expressions and her painting, oh, she has a very sort of milk tea colored hair. There isn't a lot of shading or definition on it, but I think it's a pretty color. She has two red streaks in her hair, and they are separate pieces of plastic. So they actually, towards the bottom, are separate pieces. It's kind of a nice detail. And then painted on, she has the black and red bobby pins crossed there. Let's take a better look at her makeup without her hair on. She does have, she has magnets in her head, and I don't believe she comes with any magnetic accessories. So I assume that's to make her more versatile. Maybe some of the other characters in the series have magnets in their heads, or, this just Makes her more versatile to use other accessories like the ears from, say, the Onto's Penny's Box Wild Beast Girls. A lot of ears for a lot of different 12th size dolls have magnets in them, so you could possibly use them on these heads. Granted, whether or not the orientation of the magnet is correct and it doesn't just repel them and send them like shooting off into space. So, looking at her face, she has her eyes are one piece in her head, but they are separate eyes. The eye holes are open. It gives them, and and they are domed and quite shiny. So the print, when I was looking at it through the plastic, didn't seem very clear, but it's actually quite clear. And I think the red is very pretty. She has heart-shaped pupils in her eyes. And you do get from that domed inset eye, you do get a little bit of following. So she does appear to watch you as you turn her side to side. She has my favorite thing in the entire world, which is a teeny tiny beauty mark under her eye. She has slight blushing on both of her cheeks. She has a cute little kitty mouth. She has red and black eyeliner, eyelashes, and then the pale brown eyebrows. There's a little bit of blushing in her ears that gives it a little bit of definition, but all of the blushing on the doll is on the face. But it's quite pretty actually. So the hands that she has are sort of just graceful, open hands. But let's take a look at all the hands she comes with. So she has, these are little okay hands. She has a right and left for those. She has a fist. This appears to be sort of a graceful fist. This is one of my favorite hand positions for these dolls because I just think it looks so elegant. She has, these appear to be grabby hands. She doesn't actually come with any accessories for grabby hands, but these do appear like perhaps if they're accessories for the other dolls in the series, you could use those. She has the dressing hands, which are just little pegs to make it easier to go through the sleeves. I don't think I'm going to have any problem going through the sleeves. The armholes appeared pretty large on the shirt over here. She has a pair of clasped hands that are one piece. She has heart hands. She has, I'm not sure what you would call these. They're like benediction hands, right? Like blessing hands. And then these last ones, I, I'm gonna guess they're supposed to be like animal hands. They appear to have more of a stubby look to them, and then maybe like there's supposed to be some claws on there. They have the vaguest look of like hot dog fingers. So they're not my favorite. I don't think they went far enough into cat territory to make them look cat-like. And they're just a little too wide at the ends. I won't be using these. They look a little silly to me. But I think because they're electronic pets, I'm going to assume that these are supposed to be cat fingers or beast fingers. So I'm going to put on, I'm going to sub out one of these hands for her hands. So put that to the side. Let's go ahead and dress her. First thing I want to do is I want to see if those shoes fit without putting on the high heel feet. It looks like inside that they wouldn't need the high heels. The shoes are very chonky platforms. Yeah, I don't think that there's any reason you need to use the high-heeled feet. They appear to fit just fine in the shoe. Let me see how the heel fits in the other shoe. So with the high heel feet, it does fit a little bit more naturally into the shoe. It sinks in a little further. It does feel a little loose, actually, almost too loose. It might actually fit better on the flat feet than on the high heel feet. But the high heel feet do look a little less awkward in the angle of the ankle. The angle of the ankle makes it look a little, let me see if does it show up better on the dark? Not really. It makes it look a little overextended. So I think I am going to swap out her hand, and then I'm going to swap out her ankle. I'm going to swap out this hand using my skewer. There goes that hands. I do love an elegant high-heeled foot, even if you never see it in a shoe. I guess the shoe actually would, if once we put the socks on, could fit quite tightly actually. With the sock on, I wonder if the, oh, huh, no, not my inexpensive skewer. Ooh, if I don't move you, maybe you won't fly up into her. Okay. There is a little ledge inside the foot and inside the wrists with the intention of keeping the hook from flying back into the body under the power of the elastic. I just don't trust it. I much prefer to use a skewer when I do that. But they are not giving me very much leeway on that. Not in the legs. The legs are pretty tight in terms of their elastic. So we'll just be extra careful not to lose them. Okay. It was not difficult to change. Let's trash this side. Let me see if I can find her socks out of this pile of things. Here we go. Socks and leg warmers. Socks are very tiny, extremely tiny. They're so tiny that the little seam of fabric inside actually makes a physical difference in being able to get them on. But I did get it on. That wasn't so bad. Not sure if these are supposed to be asymmetrical or not. You can't really see them underneath of the leg warmers. Here we go. So I don't know how many hands the normal dolls in this set actually come with. I'm not sure if they come with a sack of all of the hands or if that's just a special treat for the limited edition cat doll. I probably need to watch a video, take a look at those. I thought maybe the sock would help the leg warmer go over, but maybe not. Maybe the sock is too thick. There we go. Okay. Okay. There we go. One pretzel girl with her sock and leg warmer. And now let's see how the shoe fits. The correct one. So with the high-heeled shoe and the sock, it fits quite well, actually. It's quite sturdy, doesn't appear to fall off at all. So the socks are a big help then with that particular task. This is the plain leg warmer. The other pieces are, aside from the neck piece, which is extremely small, and I hope I haven't already lost somewhere, I don't see it. The other pieces shouldn't be so difficult to put on. They're a lot larger. The body styling, I think, is quite nice. So she'll look really nice in any of the other 1/12 sized outfits that I currently own in my little 1/12 size doll wardrobe. There we go. Seam to the back, leg warmer down, leg warmer to the back, shoe. Luckily, we don't have to try and get any pants on, and we don't have to try and pull the skirt, a tight skirt over this. There we go. I know this leg, I think, is the one that gets the red ribbon tied around it. I never have very good luck with the getting ribbons to stay up exactly unless they have some kind of like sticky tack or something on them. Before we go any further, let me see if I can find where I pushed. There it is. The teeny tiny little neck ring. So it looks like the front of her head just slides off. She's one of the dolls that has a sliding neck piece. Yeah. Kind of wish I had some more options for eyes. These are pretty. Don't get me wrong, I like the red. Oh. Okay, I need to remove this neck block in order to get this tiny choker on. Please don't fly. Please don't be difficult. Oh, there we go. This is crazy. There we go. Don't get me wrong, I love that they included this tiny little detail piece. I love when dolls have doll-sized accessories, when they've scaled things down. Did I have... No, this must... Wait. Was this forward or backward? Round to the front. But was this upside down? No, because the cup has to go over that. Okay, I think I got it right. Pull it back out, turn it a half turn. And slide it back in. Okay, that looks right. Yeah, I love dolls. I love when they make things doll scale. It's just that as you get older and you need glasses and your fingers get clumsy, it does get to be a trick. There we go. Lower. Let's see if we can go ahead and get her top on. like I said, I don't anticipate having a problem with these sleeves. They're short and elastic and poofed. They're not long, tight sleeves. But it is nice that they included the option of having dressing hands. So, my feelings on that clothing is that maybe the fabric could be more interesting. Maybe more of like a patterned ribbon, or maybe something with like a silver thread. Maybe just a few more varieties of fabric, perhaps, would make the outfit a little bit more engaging. Make it a little bit more distinct or unique. This kind of outfit feels very much like the kind of outfit you buy as, like a $12 outfit, like by itself, sort of like an expansion, rather than kind of I hate to say the doll's flagship outfit, but, their standard outfit. The color does lay quite weird. Doesn't fit quite right, feels like. And then there's a little thread hanging out underneath here that I'm going to end up having to trim away. Like the ruffle that goes around the neck is standing up at kind of an awkward angle. Almost more like a Victorian or an Elizabethan ruff, rather. But I'm sure that's not their intention. Love that the skirt is easy to put on. She does not come with any sort of underwear, which is not unusual. It's not really a necessary piece to any of these outfits. But if you like your dolls more modest, you'll have to yoink that piece from some other doll. Okay, Velcro. The ribbon's quite pretty. It's very long. It's longer than she is tall, so it'll look cute on a shelf. The ribbons that have these bows on them are actually velvet. I wish that like the variety of fabrics were a little bit easier to see, because it's nice that they changed the texture for those ribbons. Oh, I guess this is this asymmetrical? I guess it's asymmetrical. The one is much, much shorter than the other of these pearl chains. This one's like twice as long, which is not how the pictures make it look. I wonder if that's actually a mistake. But it's actually twice as long as the other one. And then I do believe this one's supposed to get tied around her waist. Okay. And then the final pieces, we have the headdress with the veil. That's cute. And the red leg ribbon. Better at it, since they went to so much trouble to provide it. What a shame it would be to not include. Oops. Although these ribbons never really stay up exactly. So I won't worry too much about making a little ballet style ribbon. Do I think it will stay up? Maybe if I... Okay. And what does that look like? Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Okay. So that is all the pieces of the costume for the Electronic Pet Game World Series Cat Special Color. She's a cute doll at $30. She is vastly overpriced at the price of $90, which is what you can find her for purchase right now. I'm a little confused as to why the one side of her skirt, oh wait, oh, it was tucked way in. Okay, never mind. There we go. The skirts, they are the same length. The beads were just tucked in. The outfit is nothing special, but I think the doll is quite cute herself. She's a bit plain. That might be an asset because she can wear a large variety of clothing styles. The sort of milk tea hair is kind of a neutral color. The red is sort of a neutral color in terms of like it's almost more like a brown or a warm chocolate. So, as a doll you can play with, I think that she would do great. As a display doll, um, I think that depends on your personal style. I'm probably going to change her and put her into something else. Maybe I'll leave her in this for a week or two and then we'll change her out into something else. Maybe something more like a pink or a blue. But yeah, otherwise, I think she's a pretty cute doll. Her stringing is nice. She feels like that she's going to keep a pose pretty well. And I have to give them credit for all of the hands that they gave us, as well as the flat feet. So I think the shoes fit better, especially with the socks. If you use the high heel feet, but you do have the option if you want to use the flat feet for other shoes coming from other sets or just individually purchased shoes. So that is our friend, the Cat Special Color from the Electronic Pet Game World series. Thank you for joining me. Keep a lookout for additional doll content that's coming up. I do have a couple sets that I should be getting in the next couple months. I splurged on the Nysa Strange Nightmare series, so we'll be getting all of the regular 6, the hidden one, and the special color, as well as the Black Goat Brett limited edition version of the Nysa set. And then a few months later, we'll have the Koo's Devil Horn set. I did purchase the special edition Lucifer. And the full set of 6 with the special color sloth doll, but I did not opt for the hidden one in that particular package because I just didn't really like the way the hidden doll looked. But look forward to those particular ones coming. I'm debating about a few other dolls. And then very soon we should also have a review of the Witch Lily doll that comes from the Mian Mian adventure set. So thank you for joining me.